Hello, Stormy Petrels. I'm Dr. Laura Renée Chandler, Vice President of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at Oglethorpe University, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to Convocation 2021. Convocation is a special and hallowed tradition here at Oglethorpe. It is a celebratory beginning to a new academic year. It instills a sense of pride and purpose as our students begin this new journey in their lives and in their studies. And it is an opportunity to recommit to our values, both as a community and a liberal arts institution. All of this is most important as we return after a year in which a global pandemic, social unrest, political discord, and recurrent pain and trauma have tested both our spirit and our resolve. As we return to campus, we lift up our motto, make a life, make a living, make a difference, and use this time to reflect upon our collective responsibilities to one another. I encourage you to use this year to build new relationships, to show compassion and concern for your fellow Petrels, to operate in a spirit of empathy and civility, and to offer grace and gratitude to others and to yourselves. Our speakers for today will share their reflections on our university motto and mission, as well as their hopes for how we can grow, advocate, and move forward as a truly impassioned and empowered community. Congratulations on this new beginning, and I truly wish you all of the best. Please welcome Oglethorpe University's 17th President, Dr. Nicholas Ladany.
Welcome to all our new Petrels. Today, I have the distinct privilege of welcoming you to the start of what will most certainly be a personal and special journey. Convocation is not just an occasion for faculty and staff to gather and celebrate new students. It is also a time of reverence and formality, intended to mark the beginning of your academic endeavors. As our new provost, Dr. McClymond, studies in her research, rituals and traditions like convocation help establish normalcy, provide stability, and bring people together to form connections and community. It is also the perfect way to acknowledge the many accomplishments you have achieved on your way to this moment, and to imagine the many that still lie ahead. The times we are living in are strange indeed. That said, since you are a member of the Oglethorpe community, we know you are resilient and we will get through this together. Our collective resilience is one of the many things that makes Oglethorpe so special, and it is what will carry you through the most challenging times. You can do it. And whatever you choose to do, remember that you are not alone in this journey. At Oglethorpe, you will form lifelong friendships to lift you up now and through graduation, and our talented faculty and staff are also here to support you and help you along the way. A liberal arts education is a very special type of education that few have the opportunity and privilege to access. You will learn to think and write more critically, communicate in a more complex manner, and develop diverse interpersonal skills that you will have throughout your life. And when I think about the liberal arts, I am reminded of the British philosopher Gilbert Ryle, who identified two types of knowledge, knowing that and knowing how. He indicated that knowing parts of a bicycle is not sufficient to be able to ride a bicycle. Rather, for example, a child learns to ride a bicycle by balancing themselves on two wheels, moving around obstacles, and occasionally falling off and then trying again. Knowing the parts of a bicycle is knowing that. Riding the bicycle is knowing how. Oglethorpe helps students learn to know how. It is a great gift that the faculty offer. I encourage each of you to take full advantage of it. I wish you the best as we begin the year, and I look forward to meeting all of you at some point in the near future. Now it is my great pleasure to welcome to the stage your new Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Kathryn McClymond.
Good morning. I'm Provost Kathryn McClymond, and welcome to Oglethorpe University. Make a life, make a living, make a difference. You're hearing these words frequently today, and that's because this mission drives our collective enterprise at Oglethorpe. It's the touchstone for all we do. When I first heard Oglethorpe University's motto, I focused on the three nouns: a life, a living, a difference. But recently, I've begun to focus on the verb, make. Make a life, make a living, make a difference. There's a lot wrapped up in that single syllable. To make means more than simply to do. To make is to be creative, to bring something into being that didn't exist before. To enjoy the opportunity to make, to create, is a privilege. It implies agency, self-determination, control over one's actions and destiny, and responsibility for the results of those actions. Given everything that's happening in the world right now, don't take that agency or control for granted. Being a maker also requires intentionality. Anyone can have a life. It takes intention to make a life. Anyone who takes a breath on this planet will leave it a little bit different. But it takes intention to identify and then make the difference you want to make. The world will be different because you were here. How do you intend it to be different? To control the impact you have on the world, you need certain skills. You need to learn how to sift through, evaluate, and use information effectively. You need to know how to mount an argument so that others understand and are persuaded by your ideas. You need to be able to look ahead and see the implications, the fallout of choices you're about to make, the consequences for you, for those you care about, and for the larger world. Most importantly, you need to listen. Listen to those who've come before you and to those who are with you now. Some voices come across loudly and clearly. Others have been silenced. Listening isn't passive. It involves actively seeking out competing voices, hearing and reflecting on what they have to offer, ignoring those whose words are empty, and straining to amplify those who are on the margins, ultimately developing your own strong, clear voice in the process. Your academic experience at Oglethorpe is designed to develop you into a maker, into someone who will shape their own life and who will lead others. The faculty, staff, and alumni have built a 100-acre training space to shape you into an intentional, innovative, and effective maker. If you take full advantage of this training program, you will feel challenged intellectually, socially, imaginatively, and in countless other ways. Making in this world is a full contact sport, so prepare to be knocked around a bit while you're here. Seek out new experiences, listen to new perspectives, be open to ideas you haven't heard before, and be willing to revisit what you think you already know. You may major in art, history, English, business, or biology, but fundamentally, an Oglethorpe graduate is someone who has developed a sharp, incisive mind that can't be easily led by someone else. Earning an Oglethorpe degree means you've developed a robust and informed imagination, equipped to create the next world we will all live in together. And finally, while you're in training, remember we don't ask you to do this alone. Higher education is also a team sport. Fundamental to the university project is the idea that we take our thinking public. We test ideas with one another. We nudge each other along, pushing past the boundaries of what humans have already seen, done, and created to go further. This happens in the classroom, the lab, and the art studio. But it also happens over meals, on the basketball court, in student government, and late at night in conversations with sorority sisters. Know that it's not unusual to feel alone or isolated, marginalized or unsettled in the midst of this work. My pledge to you is this: you are never alone. Alumni, faculty, staff, and administrators are all here to support you. Each of us has dedicated our lives to supporting your development as a maker. So when you see us on the quad, please stop us, say hello, tell us your name, where you're from, what you're studying, and what you hope to make with your life. We are eager to know. So take a deep breath, lean in, and start training. Make a life, make a living, make a difference, and welcome to Oglethorpe University.
Good afternoon. My name is Justin Bennett, Student Body President of the Student Government Association at Oglethorpe University, and it is my distinct honor and pleasure to welcome each and every one of you to Oglethorpe University and to this year's Convocation. Navigating the transition from high school to college can be and is very daunting, especially during an ongoing pandemic, and deciphering how to successfully find your ideal institution, your major, your friend groups, and or ideal extracurricular activities are all things that vary based on the person. Oftentimes, it can be difficult for some, and oftentimes it can be easy for some. Yet, there's one thing that all students have in common. It is the fact that each and every student here at Oglethorpe University is here for an education. Squarely, this is why Oglethorpe is committed to making a life, making a living, and making a difference. Oglethorpe knows and understands the resulting trauma from the pandemic that can and does malign students, whether the trauma is health-induced, societally induced after ostensibly seeing and experiencing injustice during the pandemic, financially induced, or familial. Thus, Oglethorpe administration and the Student Government Association have taken numerous steps to ensure that navigating to and back to Oglethorpe in the midst of a pandemic is smooth and is centered around putting every student first. As Student Body President of the Student Government Association, I find it paramount to provide and offer unimpeded support to all students on a personal level. Through my leadership and proximity to Oglethorpe administration, I am devoted to putting students first. Because Oglethorpe is a safe haven to a deluge of students with a myriad of differing personalities, I, in addition to the entire Student Government Association representatives, are eager to ensure that each and every concern that may be proposed is not only heard, but also taken seriously with the resulting action. Whether that concern is academically based, administration-based, individual case-by-case based, or anything, the Student Government Association is ready to unpack, instill, and encourage all students what it truly means to make a life, make a living, and make a difference. I am confident that after a year-and-a-half hiatus, navigating back to and to Oglethorpe amidst the pandemic is extremely feasible and possible through the embodiment of Oglethorpe's theme and commitment to making a life, making a living, and making a difference. During your convocation, I charge you to embody this theme in your classrooms by practicing honor and nobility. Embody this theme in your clubs or organizations by being kind and inclusive. Embody this theme in your areas of habitation by being considerate and open-minded. Embody this theme by striving and internalizing that the sky is the limit. I am expectant that this year will be a huge success and definitely one to remember. Once again, I welcome you to Oglethorpe, and I look forward to seeing you and meeting each of you in person and during our weekly SGA meetings at 6 p.m. every single Thursday. Thank you all, and I hope you have a wonderful year.
Reverend Dr. Jamie Washington, pronouns he, him, his, is the president and founder of the Washington Consulting Group. WCG was named by The Economist as one of the top 10 global diversity consultants in the world. Dr. Washington has served as an educator, administrator, and consultant for over 37 years. He serves as an invited instructor in the Harvard Graduate School of Education and the Lancaster Theological Seminary. He is the president and co-founder of the Social Justice Training Institute and a past president of the American College Personnel Association, or ACPA. Dr. Washington earned his BS degree from Slippery Rock State College, a double Master's of Science degree from Indiana University, Bloomington, a Ph.D. in college student development from the University of Maryland, College Park, and a Master of Divinity from Howard University School of Divinity. He has been honored as a distinguished alumnus from both Indiana University, Bloomington, and the University of Maryland, College Park. Dr. Washington received an honorary doctorate of business from Shepherd University in May of 2019, an honorary doctorate of law from Wheaton College of Massachusetts in this past May of 2021. Dr. Washington is the recipient of many awards and honors. He was honored with the University of Maryland, Baltimore County's Legends of Excellence Award for his contribution to the lives and education of Black and Latinx faculty, staff, and students. He received the 2020 Annual Coepitus Senior Leader Award from ACPA and is the 2021 recipient of the NASPA Dr. Bobby Leach Leadership and Social Justice Award and the ACPA Esther Lloyd Jones Outstanding Service to the Profession of Student Affairs and Higher Education Award. He is a member of Omicron Delta Kappa, Golden Key, Alpha Phi Omega, Phi Delta Kappa, and a life member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Dr. Washington has an extensive list of corporate, nonprofit, government, and faith organization clients. Some of his clients include Starbucks, Wachovia and Wells Fargo, Shell Oil, Boston Bank, Greenpeace, the Human Rights Campaign, the Task Force, the Peace Corps, and the Government Office of Accountability, the Presbyterian Church International, Metropolitan Community Church, and the Baptist Church Convention. He has authored several articles, books, forewords, and chapters. He is in the process of writing and editing 2 books, The Ride to the Airport, The Real Stories About Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and Called Out to Serve, LGBT clergy answering the call to ministry. He is a passionate, inspiring, and strategic thinker on issues of organizational change through a DE&I lens. Dr. Washington also serves as the pastor of Unity Fellowship Church of Baltimore and is an elder in the Unity Fellowship Church movement. He is the grandfather of 7 and great uncle to 8. His hobbies include his grandchildren, cooking, music, laundry, and binge-watching TV programs such as The Walking Dead, Greenleaf, This Is Us, Power, Empire, Game of Thrones, How to Get Away with Murder, Kim's Convenience, Pose, Grace and Frankie, AJ and the Queen, 9/11, All Law and Orders, and of course, Murder, She Wrote, and The Golden Girls. Known as the engagement specialist, he sees himself as an instrument of change. He works every day to help people find the best in themselves and others. He lives by the words of one of his favorite songs sung by the late Mahalia Jackson at the funeral of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. If I can help somebody as I pass along, if I can cheer somebody with a word or song, if I can show somebody that he, she, ze, or they are traveling wrong, then my living shall not be in vain. Please join me in welcoming my colleague, and most importantly, a great friend and mentor, Reverend Dr. Jamie Washington.
Good afternoon, Oglethorpe family. To President Ladany, Vice President Chandler, Provost McClymond, to SGA President Bennett, thanks for your remarks and your leadership. I also want to thank my dear friend and model for excellence, Dr. Kyle Williams, for that warm introduction and for inviting me to this special occasion. It is indeed an honor to be your fall convocation speaker. My name is Jamie Washington. My pronouns are he, him, and his. And I'm joining you today from the unceded and Aboriginal homeland of the Piscataway Tribal Nations here in the Baltimore, Washington area. As I prepare for occasions such as this, I'm reminded of my own starting and beginnings in higher education more than 37 years ago. As I entered Slippery Rock State College, I started a journey that positioned me for the spaces that I occupy now. I had no idea where I would be going or what I would be doing. I wasn't even sure that I was going to college. I wasn't discouraged, but I wasn't majorly encouraged to go. So as I started, I was full of excitement, full of joy, full of fear, full of anxiety, full of curiosity. These are just a few of the emotions that overtook my body. I'm sure for new faculty and new staff, and especially our new students, you might be sharing and experiencing some of these emotions as well. I encourage you to feel them. I encourage you to share them. I encourage you to find community and know that you're not alone. It's very important that in this time, in particular, that we are developing our emotional intelligence. Given the last 18 months and the years to come, we're going to need to be more than cognitively intelligent. We're going to need to be emotionally intelligent as well. We are starting this year with a degree of uncertainty and newness, and we must listen to our bodies, our hearts, and our minds as we move into this academic year. Last March, most of us were hit with this pandemic, this health pandemic, for the first time. We knew nothing about it. So we moved from health pandemic, COVID-19, to systemic racism, pandemic number 2. The pandemic that we've been working with and dealing with since 1619, for which we still have not found a cure. We had uprisings, we had continued violence, and we returned to campus last year with masks, distancing, washing hands. I laughed today as I was sharing with some folks that many of us survived the great toilet tissue shortage. And we moved into the fall where we experienced no justice for Breonna. Our former president named having conversations about anti-racism was anti-American propaganda. We had the vote. Some of you voted for the first time in 2020, which resulted in President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. We end the fall with all of those things in our energies. We invite you to take a deep breath. We were hoping at the end of the fall that, can we just get ready of 2020? You know, as we talk a lot about cancel culture, I know a lot of people wanted to cancel 2020. But we start 2021 with January, and we move into January with insurrection, January 6th inauguration, and the call for impeachment. We move into our spring semester and finally the COVID-19 vaccine and all of the energy that surrounded that and continues to surround the vaccine and boosters, who has access, who doesn't, who feels like it's safe to take it, who doesn't feel like they should have to take it. Later in the spring, we see another ugly example of systemic racism through the murders of our Apita Asian folks in Atlanta, right there in your hometown where Oglethorpe is located. It was a tension moment. We began to think about, what does it mean for us to navigate the tension of Asian lives mattering and Black lives mattering and all lives mattering? It's a challenging moment for us, particularly as we were starting the Derek Chauvin trial for the murder of George Floyd. We moved through that space and time, and we have the verdict, a guilty verdict for Derek Chauvin, and the country takes a bit of a sigh in many spaces, for they felt like maybe justice is being served at this moment. As we move into our summer, we are beginning to start our year in a way that we had not anticipated. For COVID is still present, the Delta variant, the Lambda variant, and more. We are coming upon the 20th anniversary of 9/11. We've got Afghanistan and the crisis there. We've got wildflowers, fires, and so much more. I invite you all to take a deep breath as we start 2021 academic year. Just breathe. And I invite us today to consider Oglethorpe's motto, Nisquit Kerare, Nisquit Kerare. He does not know how to give up. And it perfectly captures the pride and tenacity of the Oglethorpe community. I've modified it to, we will not give up. We will not give up on each other, on excellence, on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and on service to our communities and the world. So Jamie, what does that mean? What does that look like? Here's what I want to offer you, Oglethorpe family. First, we will commit to not giving up on each other, and we'll commit to show up and respect each other's humanity, modeling empathy and civility, regardless and because of who we are as human beings. We will show up for each other. This does not mean that we will all see it the same way, nor that we will all agree. As a matter of fact, I hope that we don't, because it is in that tension that real learning happens. And we still commit not to give up respect. Secondly, we will not give up seeking to learn and restore when we have created harm. There has been historical and generational harm and trauma through systems of oppression, whether that be about race or gender or class, sexual orientation or gender identity, religion, nationality, all the ways in which people have been marginalized and made to feel less than. We will not give up on learning our part in maintaining, being complicit, and sustaining harm. Third, because of our commitment to excellence, we will do our own part to heal from past harms. We know that hurting people hurt others. And if we are in pain ourselves, we often struggle to hear and can sometimes then put the pain that we are experiencing onto others that don't deserve it. So we will commit, because of our commitment to excellence, we will be excellent ourselves and do our self-work and healing such that we can show up in community in the ways that we would want to be. A friend of mine said, any expression other than love is a cry for help. And so I want us to think about the importance of our being able to not only show up in light and love and caring and community, but also to listen for the pain of others and not simply to react to that, but to know how important it is that we do our work and invite others to do theirs. And finally, we will not give up on being in service to our community. We know that we have the privilege of occupying the four walls of higher education. We don't take that for granted. And it is so important that we recognize the opportunities that we have to make a difference, not only on our campus and in our campus community, but also within the greater Atlanta community where we are and for the world. So we will not give up, no matter what it looks like or the challenges that come before us, the lack of understandings and the lack of willingness for some to step into their uncomfortable space. We will still remain committed to being in service and show up with our unique gifts and talents to make the world better. Our tagline on our website reads, "Where great minds think and do." Where great minds think and do. Learn to make a life, make a living, and make a difference. Learn to make a life, make a living, and make a difference. That's so powerful as we start this 21 academic year. And so we ask that you remember our motto, Nescit Querere. We don't know how to give up. We will live into that determination and into that commitment. Remember this one thing though, being tired and taking a break to restore is not giving up. Let me say that again. Being tired, taking a break, and time to restore does not mean giving up. Given the last year where we have had Zoom fatigue and sitting in these boxes and seating fatigue, that all of the ways where we've had all of this change and trauma, most of us have not taken the time that we need to recover and to restore. And so not giving up also requires that we take time to heal, to restore, so that we can show back up doing the work that we are purposed to do in the spaces that we occupy. Oglethorpe, as you start this year, I want to leave you with these words. Watch your thoughts, for they become your words. Watch your words, for they become your actions. Watch your actions, for they will become your habits. Watch your habits, for they will become your character. Watch your character, for they become your destiny. Oglethorpe, we are starting a year like no other. And we know that we have the capacity within and amongst us to make this a year better and more than our wildest dreams. I know that you all have the capacity to be unstoppable. And so don't give up on yourself and others, and make 2021-22 the best year ever. Thank you so much.
Please join me in giving Reverend Dr. Jamie Washington a round of applause for his thoughtful words this afternoon. As he informed us of everything that we have overcome this year, I was reminded of the blur of these past 18 months. I am leaving this space encouraged to show up for each other and be present while respecting each other's humanity, and I would add individuals' authenticity, and not to give up on our humanity. To not give up on restoration of each other, especially when we may have caused harm towards one another, rather done intentionally, unintentionally, or in recognizing the systemic oppressions that exist every day. To do my own work, to heal and to recover from past and present traumas, to permit me to show up whole and authentic for each other and our community. And I enjoyed the phrase that he used to connect this. Any other expression than love is a cry for help. To not give up on showing up for service for our communities, and a reminder that we are needed for our brilliance and talents for not just the university, but the surrounding communities and beyond. And finally, one of the most important is reminding us of self-care and informing us that being tired and taking time to restore is not giving up. This is similar to a phrase I have heard, that rest is a form of protest. As students, faculty, and staff members, we put so much of ourselves into others and would not protect ourselves, and this is something that this time has truly taught me as a person. I have to protect myself, and it's not selfish or giving up because I can't pour from an empty vessel. Thank you again, Dr. Washington, for those words. Next, we will have our university singers grace us with our alma mater.